tuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
All right, thank you. Have a seat. My name is Vivian Wambui. I'll be moderating this event for AllAfrica Media Leaders Summit, Youth Edition, which is known as the Digizens Circle. And I'd like to call on stage Dr. Tendai Meja. So Dr. Tendai spent her early years traveling the world and was educated in 6 different countries. She holds a PhD in business science with the University of Nairobi in the UK, as well as a master's in strategic management. Tendai is a board-level leader, as well as a serial entrepreneur with over 30 years experience in Pan-African strategy and general management, marketing, branding, market research, media communications, and leadership. She has worked for the Edgar's Group, Wella, and within the global WPP Group extensively, and still leads a 30-year-old Pan-African market research agency, Research Bureau International. She's also the founder and chief inspirer of Integra Africa, offering unique tribe programs and strategic solutions with Africa at heart. Tendai was the first female Zimbabwean entrepreneur of the year in 2004, and she is the author of the widely used 2013 Sub-Saharan African Living Standards Measure 2. Dr. Tendai is a connector and has worked as a consultant and advisor with Special Force on Strategy for financial institutions, having developed market and brand strategy documents for over 14 banks across Africa. She's also worked and continues to work as a Pan-African strategic advisor and management consultant with many multinational corporations across Africa and the globe. She was most recently the managing director of Insights Publicis, West Africa's large communications firm based in Lagos, and she also headed innovation and growth for the Publicis business units. She's currently leading the transformation of AllAfrica Global Media in Mauritius, and continues to lecture on the GIBS MBA, GIBS for Gordon Institute of Business Science, Faculty of Pretoria. She's an avid public speaker with an infectious passion for transforming businesses as well as inspiring people to grow and lead, but her foremost mission is the rapid development of the African continent. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause as she comes on stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very long, very long profile. I thank you very much. Welcome all of you to the AllAfrica Media Leaders Summit. We are here in Nairobi to be with you for 3 days. We are 250 strong African media leaders who have all converged here in Nairobi. Why? Because it is the most amazing hub of activity, hub of commercialism, and hub of media in Africa. And I would just like to say that you are our #1 target audience, the youth. Those people under the age of 30 are the largest growing population of the world. Soon Africa is to have the largest group of people under the age of 25 in the entire world, on the globe. And that is why we are starting our summit with you. This is the first event of the whole summit, which will be a 3-day event. As I say, we'll move from here, we'll go to the Radisson Blu, and we'll be in deliberations about all things to do with media. We will talk about AI, we will talk about fakes, misinformation, disinformation. We'll talk about the role of media in Africa and how they are critical to Africa's economic transformation. So all these deliberations, we will have some of the youth who will be there with us. We have also started off, I'm sure a lot of you are aware, and some of you entered, the Innovation Challenge. So we had a Youth Innovation Challenge to see how we should talk to the youth. And I keep saying we meaning me, the old people, okay? That how we should talk to the youth. How do you want to be spoken to? What is the place of youth in African media and in defining your own futures? So this Youth Innovation Challenge, we had 3 winners who have all been flown to Kenya. We had a winner from Liberia, we had a winner from Nigeria, and we had a winner from Namibia. And a little bit later today, they'll come and tell you their winning ideas. So that's going to be quite interesting. Other than that, the reason why we're here is to hear your voices. It's very important for us to hear your voices. So please, this is a debate. This is for you to talk. This is for you to express yourselves as much as possible. So let's have an interactive time. Please relax. I hope everybody's on the Wi-Fi because we will be using a digital tool to help us along with our conversation and to make sure that each and every person's voice is heard, whether you speak or you do not speak. Okay? So thank you very much for that. That introduction being said, I would like to invite Professor Jack Odhiambo. He is the Dean, FASS. I'm not sure what that means. What is FASS?
Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences.
Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. He's a professor of philosophy, of law, and metaphysics, an associate professor of philosophy at the Department of PRS. Philosophy and Religious Studies. You see, we're having an interactive session here. He has interest in research in the area of common good and foundations of human conduct in philosophical principles. He has taught at the University of Nairobi for several years. He is also an accomplished interpreter and translator from Spanish and English, and besides lecturing in philosophy of law and metaphysics, he does give Spanish language courses. So we have a polyglot in the room with us. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Professor Jack Odhiambo.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. Since you are within the premises of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, as Dean, I'd like to welcome you, give you a warm welcome to the premises of the faculty. I know we have students from different universities. You're most welcome to interact also with our students who are among you. We have a very vibrant department of journalism and mass communication. I'd advise you to check what we offer, and maybe those who would like to take courses there can do so. Apart from that, I have come also to represent the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Professor Stephen Gitai Kiama. Currently at the University of Nairobi, we are having the Innovation Week, which starts today, and the professors and students and other staff will display their innovations of different types. And the Honorable Minister for Education is within the university inaugurating the event. And so the Vice Chancellor is with him at that event. So there's a parallel, but also very important event taking place at the university right now. So I'll then proceed to give his speech of welcome, because he's the owner of the place and he's the one to welcome you. So remarks of the Vice Chancellor. Dr. Tendai Mihiza, AllAfrica Senior Advisor. Mamadou Kwijin Toure, Founder and CEO of Ubuntu Tribe. invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am thrilled to see so many young, bright faces here today, ready to dive into some important conversations about the role of youth in African media. This event is all about you, your voices, your ideas, and your dreams for the future. Our young people are the heartbeat of Africa. They are beaming with potential, yet sometimes face limitations due to tradition or hesitation. The Digizens Circle shatters these barriers. It creates a space where every voice resonates, every story finds its audience, and every dream takes flight. The Digizens Circle is more than just an event. It is a springboard for action. You will engage in critical discussions on media accessibility, inclusivity, and how to elevate youth voices on issues that matter and transform media into a powerful catalyst for positive change across Africa. I'm proud to say that the University of Nairobi has fully embraced a comprehensive digitization framework, aligning our automation efforts with our strategic plan of 2023-2027. This framework emphasizes collaboration, ensuring that we identify key stakeholders and partners who will help us achieve our goals. We are proud to be leading the way. Our students are at the forefront of innovation, driving initiatives like UNC-TV, which broadcasts all university activities through radio and television. This student-led endeavor showcases the power of youth voices in shaping media narratives. But we are not stopping there. Our university has adopted a comprehensive digital master plan and ICT strategies, gearing towards becoming a 21st century digital institution. We are investing in the future, empowering our students with the tools they need to thrive in the digital age. Now let the discussions ignite a movement for a more inclusive and powerful Africa media landscape, a landscape sculpted by your voices, your vision, and your unwavering determination. Thank you, and let's get the conversation started. Professor Stephen Kiama, PhD, Vice Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Odhiambo, for that. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I would like to give the floor to the Media Council of Kenya for just a couple of minutes to just do a quick notice on the accreditation process that they have outside. Can I invite Mr. Augustine Wachira from the Media Council of Kenya? Thank you.
Riding on the previously established protocols, fellow Digizens, hamjambo. Hamjambo. Good morning. I'm here to do a very simple task, and is to remind you to join us just outside the exit. You'll find our booth, and we are here to represent Media Council. And as you all know, Media Council is an organization that safeguards the media freedom and enhances professionalism through setting media standards and ensuring compliance. Why accreditation among the other 6 functions? We want to promote and enhance ethical professional standards amongst journalists and media enterprises. And as our conference speaks about media leaders, we want to ensure that when you visit our stand, you will find how we're going to assist you to be accredited. Basically, accreditation is what people call a press card. So that card, because we are dealing with comrades, costs 350 shillings only. It runs from January 1st to December 31st. So for 350 shillings, we'll ensure that you get a press card. But for more details, please ensure you pass through our stand out there. And I wish you fruitful deliberations as we kick off this event. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Augustine. Now we have a very special presentation from Carlton Olu and Marian Tonui. These are multimedia journalists at the University of Nairobi here, and they thrive in using art as a form of advocacy. So we will have this short presentation from them before we move on. Thank you so much. Carlton Olo and Marian Tunui. Welcome.
Hello everyone, I hope you're well. You well? Hello? Hello, the room is so dull. I want to hear your voices. Okay. Question. We are the generation that grew up with screens in our pockets. But have we found a voice in them? I wonder, what do they tell you where you come from?
Where I come from, they say,
I am the future of Africa. There's nothing as powerful as holding leverage over tomorrow. You see, just like us, Africa is young. To me, that also means Africa is the tomorrow of the world.
where we come from, they say,
We are the leaders of tomorrow.
but we, the leaders of tomorrow, are here today to see where today will lead us to. Today is crumpled.
What about tomorrow?
We are muffled. Our voices keep on knocking on locked doors that have no keys.
Our potential to make a change is crippled, yet they say we hold the power of tomorrow. It is time to start seeing the youth as partners as opposed to disruptors in matters Africa's media patterns. Our ideas are a handful. Africa's storytelling needs a unique touch, a youthful feel. Do not call us dreamers. Our ideas are futuristic, minds innovative, designed only to see challenges as opportunities. Our ideas are like magma.
In a volcano waiting to erupt as lava and flow on the ground, because we, as Africans, are proud.
But the surface is full of barriers, cultural constraints,
Limiting laws,
gatekeeping,
gender disparity,
fear. But Mama Africa is here, proud of her children. With our gadgets, or let me say weapons, we have become social media warriors.
Remember that powerful social media that began in Nigeria by the Nigerian youth? Hashtag
EndSARS.
that brought an end to police brutality.
We are the generation of Kelvin Doe, building generators from scraps, minds smarter than any smartphone. We are the soundtrack of Burna Boy, the colors of Black Panther, Wakanda. Our voices need a platform to shine.
It is time to start seeing the youth as
Partners as opposed to disruptors in matters Africa's media patterns.
we see snippets of Africa on television, wildlife documentaries, war-torn seas. But where are the stories of our beautiful cities,
Success stories of our brilliant minds,
our talented kind?
our interesting cultures, our pretty and natural smiles.
We deserve a chance to be at the table, to tell our own narratives.
The youth are ready to take over the network, for we are the connection Africa needs to thrive. I may not have the answers to this right now, but it will start with us in this room. Just like the wedding pastor said, speak now or forever.
It is time to start seeing the youth as
Partners, as opposed to disruptors in matters Africa's media patterns.
Today I give a shout out to the late Kumla Dumor, a powerful teller of African tales. We need more Kumla Dumors now than ever before.
Chinua Achebe says that until the lion learns how to write, then the story will always glorify the hunter. So today, let us give a chance to the youth to be the lion, to write, to teach others how to do so, and to pass it on to generations, to rewrite Africa's history. So let us be slow to speak, but quick to listen.
One of the three guarantees of this forum is that we will not all agree. Still, human rights is a common ground.
And a common ground is a perfect place to build. I know you've brought your brains with you. I hope you've brought your hearts too. It is time to let the young Africa speak. It is time to start seeing the youth as partners as opposed to disruptors in matters Africa's media patterns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Wow, wow, wow. Come on, another round of applause. Hey, come on. That's amazing. Amazing, amazing. Wow, when I see such talent, I get goosebumps all over because, you know, this is just pure talent, and that's what Africa is all about. So, let us start with our program. I have a very exciting gentleman that I would like to introduce to you, Mr. Jeff Mote, who will be our keynote speaker for today. Jeff Mote is a dynamic media consultant with extensive experience in radio, television, and digital media. He has produced and anchored shows for both regional and international outlets, Reuters Africa and Deutsche Welle Africa. Currently in media and communications consultancy, he's leveraging his expertise to refine strategies and drive impactful communication. The floor is yours, Mr. Jeff Mote.
Can Jeff Mote deserve and ask for better applause than that? That's much better, yeah. Give the man some psych as he gets up. Thank you so much for that introduction. An amazing performance by Carlton and Marion. Thank you so much for that as well. Thank you so much. You know, the interesting thing and why I like that introduction and how it was done is because as I was coming into this particular room, and there are people from, believe it or not, all over the continent. You have some people from Kenya, some from Liberia. There's a lady I met from Namibia. And you know the courteous thing to do when you have a visitor, exchange names, know where you're from, know what's going on. So she told me her name, to which she asked what my name was. And I'm like, hi, my name is Jeff. To which she said, that's kind of a weak name, you know. So at this particular point, my self-esteem has been left on ground floor. We will see how we slowly work it up to where it should be at this particular point. But she did have a very valid point because her name is rich. It's Namibian. It's carrying culture. And that's what it really is about. She's proudly African. And Jeff, well, as she said, So that's the note we start on today. See where we go from there. We're talking about the Digizens Circle. Young Africa Speaks. My keynote is supposed to be 5-minute stops. Nikimaliza hapo, it's all about you talking. So when it gets to 5 minutes, nataka mtu aniambie, ni kufinish ku? Kufinish ku? I'm holding you to that, okay? So let's get to our first slide to talk about what we're here to do, because they said that young Africa is the future. I want to take that a step further, because you look at the room, you look at businesses, you look at the world, the future is now. The youth is now. You know, I always told your leaders of tomorrow, wait for your time. I beg to differ. When you see the traditional media and everybody asking, what do you want? They're not asking that because of tomorrow. They've realized they're losing you now. They need you now. So you're the present. You're building your future now. And that's why we're having this particular conversation going on. And that's why I want to hear from you. As we get into this particular conversation, I want to start with our first question. As you can see, it's always man versus machine, and when you do that, machine is always winning. I don't know why. There we are. What's the Africa you want? You know, because when you listen to that particular piece done by that gentleman and lady, we realize that Africa has grown beyond, you know, the parks, then the topography and the geography and the animals. This is Africa. This is us. But the thing is, if we are not telling our stories, if we are not speaking up, speaking now, then you're left out of the conversation. And that's why we're here. It's time to be part of the conversation and lead that conversation where you want it to go. And the beauty about it is, if there was ever a time where you could speak up, speak now and speak to the world, this is it. In everybody's hand, you have a gadget that, with one push of a button, there's someone in Los Angeles who will hear what you're saying, someone in Lebanon, someone who's seated next to you. And if you go back to, I don't want to say my age, but if you go back to when Dr. Tendai, he went there, that guy, just merciless. Back in her age, you'd have to know someone who can get you probably a reporter, who can connect you to the editor, who probably, if they're feeling very philanthropic, might put your item in the bulletin, like the last thing just before they sign out. So it's even like a footnote as they leave. Things have changed. And as you can see now, with that power that you have in your hand.
So when we look at Africa, and the Africa we want,
What comes to mind? Working skills, education, health and well-being, culture, and identity. If you guys wanted me to use this one, you could have just asked me, by the way. I wouldn't have said no. So what I want to do at this particular point, if we might have a roving microphone, as you look at these particular subjects right now, and look at work and skills, is that mine? 1, 2, okay, fine. I want a roving microphone going around, just 3 views when you look at these particular issues. When you think about work and skills in Africa, in the future, when you think about your hustle in Africa, what do you think it should look like? What do you want it to be? Probably you've already started, or you want it to go somewhere. There's a lady who's been making eye contact here. I feel like we have a thing going on over here. The lady in the yellow jacket, let's start from there. Then work our way around. Your name, please, and when you think about work now and in the future, what's the Africa you want when you think about skills and work?
Hi, my name is Melan, student. I'm not in journalism. I'm doing Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, but I decided to come. Knowledge is knowledge. When I think about work, and especially in my profession, I'm looking for, I don't want an 8-to-5 job. That is the first thing that I am really keen on. And then I'm learning that also skills are changing, mostly because of the influence that technology is having. Like my field is one, it is so right now. And I'd like to tap into that and also create possibly my own path while pursuing all this. And this is just all that.
Thank you so much for that. A round of applause for her, please. If you could go further up on that particular next one and look at education as well, we could have a taker there. Kuna jamana niangalia hapa. The gentleman who's looking at me, now he's looked down, and I know he's not looking at his phone, and he's next row up there, then work your way to the center. Yeah, he knows himself. Or up there. Okay, please feel free, stand. When you think about education, because it's a key point there, some people have even asked a question, do we need the university degree? Because there's so many people who are getting the degree, take it home and do something totally unrelated to what they studied in school, and that's where their livelihood is, you know? I can see some nods right here at the front, and they don't heard me. Just come down. Or should I just come and help with that particular process? Turahisisha kazi? Okay, let me do this. You know, the funny thing is when you're facilitating, you almost feel like you're a professor. You make the eye contact and then guys look down and then you're like, but I mean, we knew we were going to do this either way. And here we are. And he knows himself here. So you guys knew also. Okay, this is where I was coming to. This particular gentleman right here. Please take the microphone. Your name? It is you. It is you, yes. Yes. Where the microphone is. Your name and what you'd like education to look like in the future. This is your moment. And he's like, man, Miliketi, please, hafai kuniona. Ah.
My name is Samuel. What I would like education to look like is where when you are studying and have that knowledge in education, where it will be helping, like you say you are finished school, you have the knowledge, and probably find something to do. Not that you have finished school, you have the knowledge, but you have nothing to do. That's what I would like education to help us.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Samuel. I want to applause for him as well, because he really is speaking to the issue there in terms of education being relevant to your future, and not just a piece of paper that you can tell everybody you have a degree, but it's not, you know, fulfilling the goal that you had at the end of the day. There's also health and well-being, and she spoke about doing psychology, and it's a key issue of concern. You know, everybody is talking about mental health. And the thing is, with the space that we're in, digitally connected, it's really hard to find the line where we switch on and we switch off. You know, there's always information coming to you, whether it's news that you don't want, whether it's work as well. You know, is it 5 p.m. but you're at home, you can still do another Zoom meeting. You know, it's not like you're rushing against traffic. And the lines are becoming blurry, you know, at this particular point in time. So yes, you don't want the 8 to 5. They guarantee you that, but they tell you in exchange, then at 6 p.m., let's do a call, you know. And those are the trade-offs now that are coming into play as we look into the future. And the question is that a valid trade-off or not? Those are the things we're thinking about. But most importantly, and we talk about your voice, speaking up and speaking now, is your culture and identity. Because that really is the fountain of where everything comes from, who you are, what you value, where you want to shape your future, and in turn your community, your country, and the continent at large. Everything you say comes from there. And even as we talk about later on, our connection to the media, how we're engaging, how we're consuming, you'll find that different surveys are being done, and we're finding that more and more young people really don't care about the news, you know. Don't care what the politicians are saying. They usually say the same things. They're not speaking to you at times. And you'll talk about, I can see someone really like, yeah, they don't. And those are the things we want to talk about. How are we consuming news? Why are we? And what do we want from it? So we'll be going there in just a bit. But that also feeds into what we're talking about, because all of these things shape the Africa you want, shape your personal futures. And I want to tie this, because this is very personal, to one item that's always out there, and at times you look at it and you're like, but this is them. You know, you look at something big like Agenda 2063. This is something that Africa, the continent, wants to do. And I know it's like, 4 decades away. So already you do the math, you're like, in 40 years, they're talking about this. Nope, not me, change that very quickly. Let's come back to it in 2050. See where they are with that, yeah? But we've spoken about, you know, looked at what work and skills look like. We've looked at education. And you're very clear with what you want at a personal level when it comes to work, when it comes to education, when it comes to the skills that you want to have. But all of a sudden you see this in the news and you're like, no, this is for them to talk about there. They talk about policy and what they want to do. And let's cross our fingers, circle back in 2055, see if we've reached the goal or not. But there's a very strong connection, even with this, with what we've just spoken about. Just look at what they're saying. I really need to get used to this clicker. These are some of the things that they're looking at when you go to the Africa Union. These are the goals they have. And if you look at what they're saying here, well-educated citizens, a skill revolution underpinned by science, technology, and innovation, they're talking about those very things that are very personal to you, your skills. This will also determine your work on the continent and outside the continent. But when you think about it at this particular level, just Agenda 2063, it's a news item, it's a headline in your paper. All of a sudden you feel like, no, this is not something that is relevant to me right now. Let me go to another page. High standard of living, quality of life, well-being for all citizens. Even when you look at that particular goal, what's a high quality of life looking like? Someone said, if it's a high quality of life when it comes to work, probably not 8 to 5, want more flexibility. But for someone else, it's totally different in terms of the benefits they want, the security that they want, what they want out of work in terms of fulfillment. That big word there, the African cultural renaissance. It's culture and identity. You'll find that over and over and over, because most of the digital media that we have made in the West, and it seems like we're really on the receiving end more than we are giving out. Or the West and China, because TikTok is a beast on its own. You know, it's something totally else, different there. But these are the platforms that we have been receiving a lot of, you know, different cultures into Africa, but it's the same tool that we can use to tell our stories and let other people know what our culture really is about. And even, I dare say, you know, because I do have a philosopher in the room and a man who has many years of experience when it comes to how, you know, knowledge was passed, because back, we're always told, in African tradition, it was orally passed. You know, your great-grandfather tells your grandfather, and your grandfather tells your father, and your father tells you, you tell your children, and it goes down that line. We're not having those gatherings anymore, but this would be one of those tools that you can use. Because once, you know, they say the internet never forgets. So the thing that you did at that particular party that you're hoping will disappear will not, at least we know that. But glass half full, the stories and the culture that you want kept alive will also not be forgotten if we use it. Again, it's all in the power of your hand. Lastly, and as we spoke about this particular part, a healthy and well-nourished citizens. And again, the aspect of health and the issues that we're having in terms of health are changing. You know, back then, like I said, and she mentioned it very clearly, probably mental health wasn't such a big thing. Now it's getting more prominence. And it's evolving in terms of what the needs are as you move forward and the different things that you're facing. So what does that look like for you? These are the things that are discussed in different, and this was just one aspect, one issue that's out there that at times goes through the news and you don't really pay attention to because it's really high level. But when you think about it and when it's broken down, these are the things that will be affecting you. And the least you can do is at least be at the table as it's being discussed, because when it gets to 2040, 2050, it is highly likely those people discussing it today might not be there. And you'll be the ones either benefiting from it or on the other side of that particular conversation, depending on how it goes. So we need to be engaged, we need to speak up, and speak now. Even as we do that, you know, we can talk and talk and talk, but they always say, the proof of the food and the pudding is in the eating, isn't it? And the people who are doing that, the young people doing amazing things in their space, using those very tools to speak up, and they're speaking now. And I had a couple of examples that I'll be getting to right there on that. And these are some of the things that we need to look at, even as we ask ourselves, how do we start? What do we do? Like I said, we all have our phones, we're using it for one or the other. Can we be intentional on how we use our media? When you're on your IG, when you're on your TikTok, I mean, of course, yes, the selfie has to happen, because if it doesn't selfie, it probably didn't happen. So that has to be put right there. But what else are you doing? What story are you telling? And when you speak about the stories, let them be authentic. Speak your true self, you know, and speak up. That's the only way people will know where you are, what you're doing, who you are, and what you're about. But most importantly, it's not a journey and it's not a voice that you do alone. And that's why I'm talking about collaborative networks. People are talking about sliding in that DM. It is fine. Get into the DM, but what do you want out of it? You could make meaningful connections that make impact to you, to your cause, to whatever it is that you want to do by using these particular tools how you want. This is the how. And this is something you can start now and move forward with that. So like I said, there are some people who are already doing that. Young people engaged in their speaking up, speaking now. I have 3 content creators who I just wanted to share stories from. Okay. If I could move back again, and there. We have Fake Walk with Justine.
For all workers working to stay sane and safe.
Yesterday, the Ministry of Health, the Council of Governors, and other league members of fantastic fields came together to wish Kenyans a happy Labor Day because this country is all about struggle. The president led celebrations while doctors are still on strike, JSS teachers are no longer agreeing to the government chokehold on contracts, and unemployment rates are skyrocketing. However, Chief Caesar handed a win to the minimum wage earners by increasing it by 6%. This celebration was done right in the middle of a life-ending flood disaster led by a man in a Grand Theft Pasta Purple ensemble. Here are some places that you can donate to assist families stranded. I haven't been able to find the government helpline for the multi-agency approach, but if you're stranded and need help, call the Kenya Red Cross on 1199. Given that the public service CS has been mouthing off about having civil servants on contracts instead of permanent pensionable terms, yesterday was really a celebration in the devaluation of labor. In good news though, the trash got closer to the dump site as the motion to impeach Agriculture CS and soon to be author of My Life in White Collar Crime was accepted by the Speaker of the House. If MPs do right by farmers affected by fake fertilizer purchases, he'll be the first of the President's draft picks of unqualified to probably lose his seat. I'm saying probably because brown envelopes are the only thing standing in the way.
Okay, we can stop it at that particular point.
Are getting fired and
Mnaweza endelea na hiyo baadaye. You can follow that account. It's just a snippet. But you can see a lot of sarcasm, humorous, but really engaged. Because when you listen to what he's talking about, I could see some of you being like, yeah, it's real. And that's what she's doing. And if you go to her account, you'll see daily issues that she's speaking about, putting her own twist to it. But that's speaking up and speaking now. If you watch the news, you'll get the serious version of it, the serious interviews. And then there's Justine, when you want to laugh at all of these things and speak truth. There's another account. This one, she's Kenyan, by the way, as you could see from that. Want us to go down south. This is Zetu. She is a...
is a screenshot from an article from Business Day that was published in December last year. It reads, budget cuts place HIV prevention shots even further out of reach. This refers to South Africa's Treasury deciding to cut the HIV funding in South Africa by 1 billion rand. Condom use in SA has declined steadily over the past decade, according to the latest household survey from Human Sciences Research Council. And the government no longer distributes millions of free condoms in venues outside of health facilities. In 2008, 66.5% of young women and 85.2% of young men said they had used condoms the last time they had sex. By 2021, the figures have dropped to 43.5% among women and 50.6% among men. In recent years, we've seen reports on immense progress regarding the fight against HIV in South Africa, but it is still not enough. And young people are the ones suffering the most. Women are twice as likely to...
Can you stop there? Another person from South Africa, it's a bit of a long clip, that's why I'm just leaving it there. You can get the handle and get more from her. Usually speaks about pop culture, entertainment, does interviews, but from time to time, speaking to issues that are affecting young people. And that's what I mean. When she talks about young people not being able to access condoms, it's not an old people issue. And if young people aren't speaking up about it, they'll move on to other policies that are affecting other things. And she's playing her part. That's all we do. Finally, and this was on the Instagram streets, if you follow African Citizens, 2 photographers, one from Uganda, one Nigerian, who are doing an amazing piece of work. And what they do is go around the continent, taking photos of things that you don't usually see in different parts of the continent. So I'm talking about from Namibia. As a Namibian lady who did the thing to me here. They were there from Nairobi to Lubumbashi. This is in DRC. And just looking for aspects that actually make us feel proud and happy to be African. Because as they said, if the lion doesn't write, the hunter will always be glorified in their story. So you have to go out there and tell people, what they should know about your area as well. That's how you speak up, how you speak now, and how you change the narrative in your own way. Go and check that page. There's some things you'll see even in Nairobi, for those who've been in Nairobi, and doubt that you've ever been past that particular street. Or if you haven't, probably want to visit. African Citizens. Amazing stuff right there. That brings us to the end of my... It was supposed to be 5 minutes. I think I've been past 5 minutes. Na sikusikia mtu akiniambia ni kufinish. So nani ameanguka mtihani? Mimi. I'll take the L on that, but we bring it to a close on this particular point. And if I could wrap up and ask you to just remember one thing from what we said, out of all of that, it's speaking up now, speaking up.
It's your moment. There are no gatekeepers, like they said before. Take your story, go out there, collaborate, tell, and tell it authentically. We stop at that, at this particular point, because a lot of talking has happened on this side, and then we shall transition to have the conversations happening from that side. So what you usually do, because I'm being told it's being live streamed, I will say thank you, and then you guys will clap really hard, okay? Thank you so much. You've been an amazing audience. Stop. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much.
Sorry, not on. Thank you so much, Jeff. I would like to take this opportunity as we transition onto our digital platform to thank the Dean, Professor Odiabo, for joining us. And you're welcome to take your leave. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So thank you so much. We are now going to start our session where we are going to go through a whole lot of questions in our group discussion, and we're going to be using a digital voting platform to make sure that whatever questions we're putting out there, everybody's answer is there, and then we'll pick on some of the people to really try to bring out those answers and to hear your voices further. So I'm going to hand back over to Jeff to take us through. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. T. So this particular part of the program, as you can see, is going to be partly virtual. You'll have some opinions shared on the screen, but you'll also have your voice heard on the various issues we'll be talking about. So what you need to do is observe as we go to that particular next slide. We'll be using Mentimeter. So you'll be keying in on your phone. You'll be seeing some of your opinions up there. So you can use a QR code to log in, or go to menti.com. There's a user code right up there. And once you're inside, once you've successfully logged in, just hit the thumbs up right there at the bottom of your screen. You'll see it so that you can know that you've successfully logged into Menti. Let me move to the side. So once again, you can use the QR code or the user code right at the top of the screen. I can see 7, 8 already in.
Sorry, could I have a handheld mic, please? Could I have a handheld mic, please? Thank you.
Once again, as you scan the QR code, get into menti.com or use menti.com and the code up there. Once you're in, just give us a thumbs up on your phone so that we can see that you have successfully gotten into menti.com. A couple of more minutes before we start.
Is everybody hooked up to the Wi-Fi? Is anybody using Wi-Fi codes?
Oh, the Wi-Fi. There you go.
You can log on to Wi-Fi. If your data is a little short, we know the hustle is real. Please, you're welcome to use the Wi-Fi. Save your data.
So what we'll do at this particular point, even as we use Menti, is just make it really interactive, because if you're going to say that Young Africa is speaking, then you speak, and we want to hear, and we want to have more of that. Listen to what you say, what you have been receiving, what you haven't been receiving from traditional media, from news media, so that as they do that, they can also improve, because that's how they get feedback on what needs to be done. But also for you who want to get into that particular space, actually realize the opportunities that lie therein. So it was indeed a Wi-Fi issue. Yeah. There you go. From 8 to 65. Wow. Fantastic. And steadily rising in terms of that particular number.
Anybody else needing Wi-Fi code again, or everybody's hooked up? We all hooked up? Good.
Okay, I think just for safe measure, can we have that Wi-Fi password and network on the screen once more, if you don't mind? Okay, just in case it whizzed by you too fast. There it is, the account and the password that we're using. We start our debate, our conversation in the next 2 minutes. Fantastic. We can go back to that QR code for those who probably now are hooked up and online. Okay, I think 8 is a good number. We can use that to start this conversation, get the ball rolling on this one, Doc. And as always, the first question is just an icebreaker, just to make sure your fingers are moving, get a feel of the Menti room. And this particular first one, when I saw it, I just knew this one is going to bring trouble. Who starts with this question, really? But we had to. Yes? Watu wa iPhone, kiburi nayo? iPhone, iOS, fighting a losing battle, are we? But steadily, not quite. Team Android is there. Oh no. What's going on? The iPhone guy is like, no, I'm ditching it for Android. I'm not getting this graph.
I'm trying to influence you with some misinformation and disinformation.
They have refused.
iPhone is not intuitive, I think use a stand code how it just, what? Does things. Right? See.
I can hear them saying yes.
No, some people are saying no.
I have a sneaky feeling that even if you left this particular poll to go up until 4 p.m., Team Android is taking this one. Yeah? Yes? A resounding yes in the room. So I can see right now the people who are suffering are iPhone users and Manchester United fans. Those are the two people suffering in this room.
81 versus 46. Okay, the 46, the number is coming up now. The number is coming up now. 51, 52. Who are these people? Can you please go back?
Let's go back.
Go back. Who are these people who are now coming onto iPhone? 54 to 89. Okay.
They'll need like 40 more votes to change this.
No, you're not going to, because 91 is up. Android is
Oh.
climbing. It's not just one. People are with me. We're on Android, yes.
Team iPhone, do something, surely.
No, Team Apple, no, they know themselves. They can't. They know themselves.
I mean, I know iPhone charge is an issue. I'm to a power bank. Because I know every iPhone owner, you know them because they're always carrying the power bank or a charger.
Exactly.
That's how you know that iPhone guy,
Exactly.
iPhone girl.
Exactly.
Where's your charger? Okay, Android almost, getting to 100, 99.
When Android hits 100, that's it. You can't beat it.
Boom, done.
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 Android.
Shut
yes.
it.
Next, let's move on. Okay.
Wow.
Let's move on. Next one.
That was bound to bring some controversy.
It's even surpassed 100.
Okay, and it's still going strong. Now, on this particular one, there's a lot that's going on. And you've heard about misinformation, disinformation, and with the advent of AI, now you really don't know what's true or false. You're told, I wasn't there, play the video. And the video is played and you were there. You really don't know what's true or false anymore. And that's why we're here. We have two pictures. The picture on the left is A. Picture on the right is B. One was authentically taken. Another one is AI generated. Is it A or is it B? Which is the fake one? Which is the fake AI generated photo? A on the left, B on the right. As they, put them in, before we get to the slide, I really want to understand what criteria they'll use to decide which is the real one, which is the fake one. I know this guy has seen a couple of real and fake photos in his day. I'm guessing. What did you be looking at to find out if it's a fake photo or a genuine one?
Well, intuitively, I will go with the right one for the simple reason that as a taken one, this intuition actually stems for the fact that having the flag in the back can be easily misleading, and a generated one can simply use the flag to fool me.
So it's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just going with his gut. He's like, that flag, it's a red flag.
It's almost like
Yeah.
if you want to make a fake, you try really hard to make it look official. So you put the flags, you put this and that. You agree? Yeah.
Okay, so once again, as you get ready to vote, we're looking for the fake picture. A is a picture on the right. B is a picture. A is a picture on the left, sorry. B is a picture on the right. There's someone who has figured it out.
A on the left, B on the right. Don't vote for the wrong one.
I'm not, check 1, 2. I'm not so sure, however, stemming from what journalists or citizens used to tell Her Highness Kate Middleton's photo was AI generated, there are certain parts of the body that will be either elongated, out of place, or hazy. So I feel the picture B, his teeth are in the middle, but there's pink. The teeth should be white. So, like, is it? And I doubt he has mapengo, so I think B.
She's going with the teeth. She's like, there's something fishy with those teeth. Must be B. Okay, one more before you actually vote. Let's see who else. So you've had someone who's speaking from the gut. They're like, something fishy there. There's a journalist who's using what they know and they're trying to figure it out. I'm here. You knew I was coming here. What's your take?
B is fake.
Why?
Okay. Okay, the first one, akona kibath makapa. Lakini the second one, akona almost 3 here. Yes.
She's going with the birthmarks, saying on picture A, he has 1. On B, he has 3 birthmarks on his face. I think now that we've had different, expert opinions, it's time for us to vote. Let's go to the next slide for you to vote. So remember, A is picture on the left, B is picture on the right. We want to know which is the fake picture. Let's go to the next slide for us to vote. Is it image A that's fake? Is it image B? Umeambiwa maneno ya mapengo, you've been told about teeth, you've been told about birthmarks, flags, everything. Image B. Think about the expert opinions you've gotten.
I think B is fake. B is the one without all the flags and that, the closer one.
And I mean, I would think if you're a president of, America, you need a flag in the background. It's just standard procedure. Or not, someone has said that flag is the telltale sign that it's fake. Okay, get those last votes in. I hope you voted for image A. Okay, I think at this point it's too good to be true. Okay, as I told, if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't. Okay, we have the votes in. Only one way to find out which one was real and which one was fake.
The real one was A. So we're absolutely the wrong way around. So A was the real one. If we go, can we go back to the image? So A was actually the real one. And the reason, the way that you see the fakes is with the deep fake detection software. The deep fake detection software looks at particular things like shadows. It will look and say, the way, can you see the way he's, what do you call this thing? Wrinkle, whatever. The deep thing that's going from here to here. These folds in the skin here would give a certain kind of shadow. And that shadow is not existing. The area under his chin would have a different color. It's not existing. So the deep fakes look at things like that. That one is a completely computer-generated image.
So for all of you who had said, no, the flag, no, no, These are the challenges we're dealing with now. You know, what really is real? That's a question, and this was a perfect example to bring that to
Exactly.
the fore.
What
So everything you
makes it
see.
real to you is different cues that may not even be in the picture, you know? That you say, oh, that looks official, it has a stamp, it has a flag, it has a, you know, whatever. Yeah.
And I think the basic tenet, especially for those who are in journalism school, is always trust, but verify. But even how you verify now has changed. You know, it's not simply just looking and be like, yeah, we saw the video, we saw the picture, he was there. There are now deeper levels of verification to actually get to the truth.
Absolutely. There's one other thing I wanted to mention about this, which is a very big go-to for fakes. If some picture is fuzzy or low resolution, we tend not to trust it. So we didn't want to trust that one because it, can you see this one is higher resolution and it's clearer and it looks more than, you know, more correct. Good.
It's almost like hiding in plain sight,
Exactly.
right out there.
Yes.
Okay, so this is just one of those things we'll be thinking about, even for those who aren't specifically in journalism, because you're still consuming your news and getting your information somehow. So it's to make sure that the information you're getting is accurate, is truthful, is correct. And that leads us to the first part of our debate this particular morning, checking if we're going into the afternoon. And we want to talk about accessibility. It's a key issue of concern, you know, and especially as young people, because like I said, we're not the future. It's the present. It's the now. We are the audience. And when you think about it, when you talk about news media, when you talk about traditional media, we're talking about how you usually get your news, if it's on TV, if it's on radio, if it's in newspapers. You know those things that people are saying, but they don't read the newspapers anymore. How are they getting their news? But they're not watching TV anymore. And those are the conversations you want to have here and find out, okay, is it an accessibility issue? Is that what they need to sort out? Is that what we need to think about to actually get more information from these particular sources that we'll have made sure that they're credible? That's what we're going to talk about. And to lead us into that particular conversation, we have another question we'll put up on our Mentimeter slide. If you can move to the next one as we talk about accessibility. Go to the next slide. So now that we know what we're talking about and you think about traditional media or news media, just want to know, do you consume it? And when we say consume, are you watching the news? Are you reading the news? Are you listening to the news? That's what I want to know. And there are 3 levels to this. Sometimes, yes, all the time. No, not at all. Is that a hand up? Not on this one, but you'll come and you can talk about that as well. Just vote as of now.
This one is news. You know?
News. So she's like, no, not at all. Yeah, she does in the hand gesture that went with that.
The traditional types of news media.
Yeah, I can get those votes in. Yes, sometimes.
Newspaper articles. Listening to the news broadcast on the radio.
And if you're reading an e-version of a newspaper, that is traditional.
That's traditional media.
Can you see those ones coming in? It's interesting because that means that we are engaged sometime. And that seems to be in the lead and seems like it might stay that way, you know, for the better part of that particular question. And as always, there ought to be a microphone somewhere here. I'm trying to see where it is. This roving. Oh, there she is. Okay, so I want us to talk a bit more about this particular finding that we have right now on how we are consuming our news media, how we are getting our information, our news. She was asking, and she was very plain, is TikTok, you know, traditional media? No. And she was like, nope, not at all. I'm done. Let me start with her, actually, because I'm here.
Yeah, I think this answer is pretty there.
So for you, it's no, not at all. So why do you prefer consuming it, I'm assuming, on TikTok?
First of all, because I'm always on TikTok, and you find that there are now people on TikTok that can do your news for the entire day in 1 minute. So why do I have to sit through? And it's funny, and I can stay. It attracts me.
Okay, she's like, what you can say in 30 minutes, someone else can say in a minute. She's going for it in a minute. Somewhere here at the back as well. So length is a key issue of concern in terms of how that is done. There's someone who said, yes, sometimes. Is that, where is that from? One of our yes, sometimes? Right here? Fantastic. I want to know which times those are that you decided to like follow it up and when you just, log off.
It's the times when I am in spaces where there are other people watching news. Like, it's not self-driven, it's driven by whichever household I am in and the people are watching news. And then when there is a major, major thing that is happening that I have seen on social media, mostly for me it's Instagram, I've seen on social media, I've seen Justina talking about, and then I'm like, oh wait, what's happening in the country?
Okay, so for her, if she's held captive in your house, she came to have dinner. Father of the house has put news. I'm like, I could leave the chicken or I could watch the 30-minute bulletin. She'll watch the news. And also, as like she said, and this is something that really comes out of that, she's also looking for truth because she knows at the end of the day, she'll see it on social media, but for it to be verified and to get the actual side of the story, and she wants someone else to do the verification because, as we saw, fakes are coming in all shapes and sizes. She'll go and get it from traditional media. Kuna bati naende wapo. Yes, all the time. Who said yes all the time? Up there. Really interested as to why. And if it's one of those hostage situations where it's not your house, so I mean you can't do anything about the TV, let us know.
For me, as a journalism student, there's something we call nosing for news. So like, usually so curious to know like what happens around the country. Like right now there are floods, what is the government doing and all that stuff. So like I have to keep track of the news, so I have to watch news all the time.
So for Rosalind, you can see she has a vested interest. Journalism student, nosing for news. So when she's watching it, she's not watching it like a normal viewer. She's looking for the story behind the story, where this might lead to, and that's why she does what she does. I do believe we have another slide on this.
Yes, next question.
Let's go to the next question. Is traditional media accessible to you? So once again, for clarification on that, traditional media is your TV, it's your radio, it's your newspapers, physical copy. If you're looking at the online version as well, if you get the e-paper, is it accessible? That's a strong 5 right there.
It seems that it's accessible. That means, are we saying that it's a choice? I can access it, but I don't want to. Yes or no? That's what I'd like to find out. Yes, there's some yeses up there. Oh, now we are getting, it is relevant. Up and down. As more people are voting, they're getting a little closer.
I find traditional media content interesting. You watch it and think to yourself, yeah, they really put some work into putting that broadcast out on air. You can see those figures right there. Okay, seems like they might not change for the better part.
I think we've reached our critical mass.
Yep.
135. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that. There's a microphone there, please. Let's bring the gentleman right there.
Yes, you do.
For those at the front. I've heard that I'm loud. I was going to say you should also look at it's not just the fact that the average of those numbers, 2.8, it's the number at the end. Both. Seems like there is no middle ground in whether folks find traditional media interesting. It's either we don't, there is no sort of in the middle there.
It's right in the middle, yeah. Yes. So it's very polarized. Yes. Are you getting what he's saying? No. I don't have a handheld mic. Could I have a handheld mic, please? So what he's saying, if you look at these lines here, this is actually how people are voting in terms of the trend.
Let me bring this mic for you so that for those who might be at the back.
There's a whole bunch of people here. And there's a whole bunch of people on hell no. And there's a whole bunch of hell yes. That is very flat in between. So it's very polarized. You got that? Very polarized. Whereas you see some of the others are not as polarized as that. This one, the top one, traditional media is accessible to me, is very high on the positive side, and then a lot of don't know, and then down on that side.
There's been an aha in the audience right there. What I'm seeing with this as well,
And this is the discussion that you can stay indoors, not true. You can stay indoors. You or probably not.
let me come to this. Yeah, this is much crisper. Sorry. What I'm seeing from this as well is the fact that it is not that it is inaccessible. It is accessible. The issue is, it's just not interesting. From these particular numbers and how, they play out right there. It's not an issue that I can't get it to me. I know the time, there's a TV around me, there is a radio where I am, I could get a newspaper, but it's not interesting. And that's why I'm not engaging. So the bigger question that we'd like to answer from this, is it an issue of relevance? Is that what makes it more interesting, more appealing to you? Or is it how they're presenting the news, how they're doing what they're doing, that's making you log off and go to TikTok or other sources for listen to your friends, because some people, that's how they get the information. In every group, there's a journalist who's not a journalism student, but knows everything, Those are the guys you want in your group because they always know what's going on. So that's another question. Is it an issue of relevance? So these have set, a good baseline for, more of the discussions that we'll have on this, and I think I'll remain here. It might be easier. We do have the roaming microphones going around, and I still want to stick to that particular issue of accessibility and dig a bit deeper to that, because as we're seeing, there's an interest issue, there's a relevance issue on that. I want us to start with relevant. What would relevant news look like to you? What would make it more relevant? Now, the only problem with this format that we're doing is that if you don't volunteer, I have to leave this microphone and come there. So we help each other. There's someone right here at the front. Please say your name and your country so that they can know what you did to me on ground floor.
My name is Tanalgo. I'm from Namibia. I think, from what I feel, sometimes it is relevant, but also it's not just a matter of information. That do I get to play a part in the information that's being shared? Sometimes we talk about business, but young people are not at the seat of the table. So whether it's, even though it is important information that's being shared, I feel like, okay, I'm going to read it, but still, even if I have an opinion on it, you're not going to hear me. I'm not going to sit in a room. So sometimes I feel like it is relevant information, but at the bigger picture, after I read the information, then what?
Right. So you probably, a round of applause for her, please. You can hear the issues she's talking about. She's not in the story. She's not a part of it. She's probably interested in business, but she switches on the business news, and it's the Windhoek Chamber of Commerce, 50 years and up. And she's like, okay, fine. You're saying about the future, we should be entrepreneurial. There's not a single young entrepreneur in this particular piece of news. Thank you very much, and goodbye. So that's an issue she's having right there with that. Who else? Please, your name and how we can make it more interesting or relevant.
Try this one. Try this one. Sorry, we're having big mic problems today.
Okay, this is interesting. So before you hand over the mic, I want to understand your order of how you get your news. So you start off by, first port of call is social media.
Yes.
You go to TikTok and find out what the news is. Then to find out whether it's actually verified or not is when you go to traditional media to find out.
Social media is usually, it's faster. Because for the news outlets, they have to wait for their time to show the news, unless it's breaking news and something major happened. And even with the breaking news, TikTok saw it fast. Instagram probably saw it fast. Yeah. So
Okay.
I use the mainstream media to verify what I had already seen.
Okay, so there's an issue of speed right there. By the time it's 7 o'clock, it's actually old news for very many people. They've seen it. It's been given so many angles. At 7, you're like, tell me something I do not know. And you know everything on that particular story. For ladies with that particular microphone, there's a gentleman up at the back, top row, purple shirt, I believe. So if I can get you correctly on that one, because it was a bit choppy in terms of what you were saying, it's how they're packaging the news and how they're producing it. It should be produced for social media. That's how it gets out there. Okay, so social media, digital first type of thinking when it comes to how production is done. That's how it becomes more relevant to those who are consuming it. And I believe good people from MCK are getting that feedback as well. So when we meet our players, tell them this is the finding for your audience. As you look at that particular relevance piece, I also want to speak to interest. Because as you can see right there, traditional media content, interesting, not. At least from this particular number. What would make it more interesting? Because I mean, we're talking about what we're seeing, but also looking at the solutions that we can find to it. Where's that roving microphone? Put your hand higher so that they can see where you are. Okay, right here. Because as we say the issues, we also want some solutions from here. Okay, your name and how we can make it more interesting.
My name is Abigail Shira, and how would make traditional media interesting is if they'd embrace authenticity. I feel like most of the news produced is altered. Some of these journalists are paid not to air some piece of information, which leaves out most of the relevant part of the story, gives us what they think we want to know rather than what we need to know. all right? So I think if they'd make it more authentic and more proficient out here and bring it out in the light as it's supposed to be, we'd probably be in a different world altogether and probably not even go to the social media to get the gist of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Abigail. So she's saying they're giving the story, they're just not giving the full story. You can hear what they're saying, but you're like, the juiciest part is what you left in the newsroom. Didn't bring it to the broadcast, and that's what we're going to social media to get. And what we see is the rise of very many bloggers who thrive off that, because we feel like this part of the story that they wouldn't tell, you'll find on X personality, you know. And even as we're discussing this particular forum and how it come together, we're looking at how, rest his soul, when the late CDF passed and when the chopper crashed, if at that particular time you are doing social media analytics and looking at one Cyprian Nyakundi's account and his, we're calling them posts on X, blow for blow, he was getting more views, more engagement, more reach on the same story than established traditional media. And that was the thing, because everybody was saying there must be something government will want to hide, and if they'll hide it, traditional media will never let us know. So there's also a trust deficit right there in terms of some of the stories that are being put out there, and that's why people are going to these alternative sources for the news when they want to actually get what is the full story. We have about 3 minutes before we bring this to a close. This gentleman right there with his hand up. There you go.
My name is Jacob, and I tend to be, to an extent, disagree with what she's saying, because most of the very good stories out there, interest stories, are never skewed in any way. They highlight issues, for example, the issue of floods right now. The media is highlighting those issues very correctly and very factually. I think we should give credit to the media. For me, I think my point is the only challenge with the news currently, maybe why not very interesting, is because of our media consumption habits, especially online, because we are very erratic, as saying in a way, because we want to consume it very fast, very quick. So if the news is taking, let's say, 30, 40 minutes, for me, I'll not have the time to wait and watch the entire, magazine. I'll want to get something very short. And that's why we are running to TikTok, to very short clips where we can get very quick news and move on with other things. So that would be my take.
Okay, before we let that go, and I want you to still have that microphone, because I know you do have some insights and information on this as well. If the traditional media, the established outlets, are seeing that in terms of our audience, the attention span has decreased, and that because of TikTok and social media and life competing for your attention, they don't have that much time. Why do you think the issue of changing how they deliver this hasn't moved as fast? Because they can see they're going to TikTok for the information. Why not try and compress your 40-minute broadcast to maybe 10 minutes? What do you think the issue is in that adaptation?
Maybe I'll allow my colleagues to check in, but for me, I think it's this issue of business models in the media houses and how adaptable are they to the changing media space, being able to bring on board, to do technologies or areas where they can be easily reach out to young people. But again, you look at also advertisers, where are the advertisers? Yes, it could be, the section of young people who want to just get news on social media, but there is a very big audience that is, still waiting, watching news on the traditional media. So I think also where the money is, where most people will go to, and also, consume content depending on where they want to get it from.
Okay, valid point indeed. I mean, there are very many factors that determine how broadcast will be done, money being a very key issue. But that also brings us to our first break as far as this is concerned. I don't know, should I continue or should I let our MC handle this particular part of how we'll move? Just continue. Okay, fine, I'll do that. And if you're the MC in this particular job, your job is being taken by me. This is how you lose your employment, buana. Be careful. I'm joking. So what we'll do is we're going to take an in-room social media break. What that means is we're going to take 10 minutes, just 5. Dr. T says 5, strictly 5 minutes. So it's just for you to stretch where you are. If you need to, rush to the bathroom and back, we could do that. Post tweet in 5 minutes to get into the next part of our conversation, and it's all about inclusivity. Naloko brought out the fact that, yes, the stories are there, but I don't feel included. We want to talk about that. 5 minutes, in-room social media break. We're back for the next topic. See you then.
Starting in 2 minutes. I hope you've got all your social media going. 2 minutes. Thank you.
We are continuing to tweet. We are using the following hashtags: All Media Summit and Media for Change. Hashtag Media for Change. Hashtag All Media Summit. Also, hashtag We Are UN.
Check 1, 2, 2. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check.
our break. You just stop the music, please. All right, so before we continue with our next topic, I would like to bring the Youth Challenge winners up to present their innovations briefly. So, last month, AllAfrica ran a youth challenge in partnership with One Campaign to try and find new and innovative ways to engage the youth in traditional media, and as a result, the African cause. The entry age for the challenge was 18 to 35, and we received submissions from all over the African continent. One Campaign flew the 3 winners to Nairobi to attend the summit and to showcase their innovations to media leaders and to other stakeholders and to you as youth. We have invited them here today to give a short presentation on their innovations. We will hear from our winner and our first runner-up today, as our second runner-up was not able to join us today. The first runner-up for the 2024 AllAfrica Newsroom Innovation Youth Challenge is Nelago Johannes. All the way from Namibia, Nelago Johannes is a law student and a passionate advocate for justice with a deep-rooted commitment to the legal field. Over the past year, Nelago has been instrumental in fostering unity among young people, merging the realms of law and community engagement. Firmly believing in the transformative power of legal education, Nelago serves as the country director for the Federation of African Law Students in Namibia. So please help me welcome Nelago Johannes to the stage.
Yeah, but like, oh, it's not working. Okay, hello. Sorry, I speak better when I'm around. Yeah, because I think we're young. It's so important for us to have conversations in ways that relate to us. And my idea really... My idea stemmed from a really unlikely source, I guess, in the sense of media and technology. And maybe you guys won't really enjoy or appreciate my idea because it's related to making life a little bit more difficult for you in university space. But I think it allows us to be competent and it allows us to compete and really show up in the world more importantly. Because I think we speak about young people taking up space and young people being the forerunners or leaders in our industries. But I also think that for young people to take up space, we shouldn't just be tokenized, but we should be competent. So I believe universities are adept at persuading individuals to engage with serious information. So leveraging this, I proposed forging contracts between universities and media outlets. At the start of each academic year, students typically sign contracts during registration. I saw this as an opportune moment to instill commitment in young people. Under this arrangement, universities would seek students' permission to share their contact details with media houses. With students' consent, these outlets would then be able to reach a memorandum of understanding where, depending on what you're studying, for one, if you're studying agriculture or you're studying medicine, you'd be informed on the information or new developments in what you're studying. Because I do feel that it is irrelevant for us to continuously be studying about things that are in the past. If Namibia has gotten a solution to it, why can we not share it in Kenya? If Kenya is doing something valuable, why can't we share that development in medicine in South Africa? I believe that by doing this approach not only enhances youth engagement with mainstream media, but it also enriches the education system by encouraging students to stay abreast of developments in their respective fields. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nelago. So the winner of the 2024 All-Africa Newsroom Youth Innovation Youth Challenge is Dixon Yadom. All the way from Liberia, Dixon Norbert Yerdom is a dedicated young leader, media personnel, poet, and entrepreneur with a passion for volunteerism and social change. From his early involvement in Ebola awareness to winning awards for his poetry, he has consistently advocated for issues like youth empowerment, gender equality, and environmental sustainability. Through his various roles and initiatives, he strives to make a meaningful impact in Liberia and beyond, epitomizing the belief that dedication to small acts can create significant change. So please help me welcome Dixon Yerdom to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I'll just be straight to the point. I think we're all looking for solution, so I'll just get straight there. All of us have acknowledged that the traditional news media struggles to get through the huge youthful population we have in Africa. Like Doctor said, our continent is blessed and can boast of youth below the age of 25, over 60%, and that is very important. But how do we get the traditional news media to young people? They already exist on the social media. If I may tell, I was just going through and AllAfrica has their own news page on the social media there, and not much engagement from them. I believe the problem has been how it comes to young people. So I suggest that we make it more exciting, more competitive, and more fun. Because as young people, we are always glued to competition. I'll say that, it's more exciting. So I suggested, and I came up with an idea. Thankfully, most people were saying that they went to TikTok and other social media platforms to gain access to news. So why don't we create a mobile app like X, Facebook, or Instagram, specifically for news content that will enable Africa or African news media outlets to push their content there. This is not going to be like any other news app, but like I said, an entertaining one that will have quizzes, games, and polls there. Not just that, but imagine every week we're going to have a winner from a leaderboard. Maybe we can call you a news champion for that week. I think with that, it makes young people to stay and be engaged with the news coming in. Not just any kind of news. All of us, we've talked about, we want to be involved. So this app is also going to allow young people to also voice out their opinion about news being published on the app as well. With this app, we can engage young people through fun, through games, and they feel so much excited. Imagine people who are not interested in news, but are interested in winning something, can also get engaged with the news app. I believe with this, we can transform a generation that is informed and a generation that can be informed to have so much entertainment in what they are going for as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Just as we now go into our final session before we have our lunch and media fair, I just wanted to let you know that once we finish our discussion in this room, on the outside of the hall, we will be having what we call our metaverse and media fair. So we have some virtual headsets. You're welcome to go and try them. Our MC will come and explain how that's going to happen soon after we finish. You're going to please experience our metaverse. Experience a mixed reality experience. Now we say virtual reality, right? Usually when we put the headsets on. We all know what is mixed reality, right? No? Mixed reality is not me being old and mixing it up. I mean mixed reality, okay? So mixed reality is that when you put on the virtual headset outside, you will see things which are real and things which are not real. Virtual reality means when you put it on, you are in a virtual world. Here you will be in both. So you may reach out and touch something, a bottle. It may be there and it may not be there. You don't know until you touch it. Cool! How cool is that? So not everybody, of course, will get to try it, but what they're experiencing when they're sitting, whichever ones of you get to try it, it's only 5 minutes, so a lot of you will be able to try it. It will also be shown on the screens what the person is experiencing, so others can just huddle around and see what is going on. Okay, so just before we start our final area, this is the Chandaria Center for the Performing Arts. We're going to have just a couple of minutes poem. Thank you. I'm inviting Valerie Awino.
I'm Valerie Awino. Vroom. Huu ni upepo wa chuo kikuu cha Nairobi. Upepo uletao mazingira bora ya elimu. Daktari, naona watikisa kichwa, ishara kuwa nisemalo ni kweli, ama vipi vijana? In glow of every screen, the youth reside with fingertips dancing on the keys so bright. They navigate the realms of virtual light. In pixels and bytes, they forge their way, their voices echo through cyberspace, in tweets, in snaps, in every embrace. In selfies, capture the moment, freeze, yet behind each smile, a story untold. Let's embrace the youth with open hearts, guide them through media arts. For the hands lies the power to mold a future bright, a story untold. Hili ni gurudumu la chuo kikuu cha Nairobi, gurudumu lishindalo magurudumu mengi. Aliendeshalo ni Profesa Kiama, madhumuni yake ni kutayarisha viongozi wa kesho. Viongozi hao ni sisi. Tuna hakika matokeo mema tutapata. Kurudi nyuma ngo. Shukran.
Another round of applause for her, please. And I could see her saying, na daktari anatikisa kichwa akisama, and daktari was nodding. So I mean, you did respond accordingly to that. She was saying, nodding your head. What does it mean? She said that the doctor's nodding her head in agreement. Okay, and you did. Yeah, so good stuff on that. I want us to move to the next part of this particular discussion, and we want to be really quick because of time. Like we said, from accessibility, we want to speak to matters inclusivity. You know, the news is there. We can get it. We have established why it probably could be more interesting, but are we included? That's the question we want to answer on this. And for that, we have two questions we'll be posing to you. Let's have them up on screen as well when we speak to matters inclusivity. First one right there. Do you feel seen by traditional media? Naloho said no, a resounding no. The news is there, but I'm not in it. And by me, she means herself and people like her. The youth aren't represented in the news. So we want to get your views on this. Do you feel seen by traditional media? Yes, I feel seen and included. That's the first. Second, I feel seen and acknowledged sometimes. Third is no, but the media could do more for us. And then fourth is just no, there's no hope. Okay, I mean, seems like there's a really bright light at the end of that tunnel. I feel seen and acknowledged sometimes. No, but the media could do more for us, coming in a strong second.
There is no hope, it's coming up. Oh, it's gone down again. Okay, yeah. Thank God. Oh, there it goes.
Okay, but I don't think it gets to first place. At least, at the very least.
Nah, oh, okay. I'm worried about the eyes. Yes, I feel seen and included
Right at the
completely,
bottom.
not the sometimes part. It's really almost nowhere. It's with there's no hope.
It's fighting for, its place with there's no hope. But what's interesting, and I think finding that we could probably interrogate, Doc, is the fact that I feel seen and acknowledged sometimes. So the question is, which times are these that they do feel seen and acknowledged?
Exactly. That's the question I would have.
Would it be on World Youth Day? Because, you can't get an old person talking about that. So where are the youth today? Let us hear your voice. Very quickly on that, I want to trust that microphone like once more, very quickly. I should not trust it. I can see somebody not. I'll hazard it just like one last time, like hoping against hope. When do we feel like we're acknowledged? Just one instance of when that happens. Looking around the room. Because, if it's first, then a number of people did say they feel acknowledged sometime.
When do you feel that you are acknowledged?
Ooh. Hello. Hi. Yeah.
I love your hairstyle, by the way.
Thank you.
This is us acknowledging you, by the way. This is how it happens. I will repeat the question.
Yes.
What we're asking is when it comes to the news, she's been in classroom, so that's how she gets, guys. When you're watching traditional media, they're talking about, do you feel seen? Do they see you and what you're going through as a young person? And very many people have said they feel seen and acknowledged sometimes. When do you think the media gets it right? The news, when do they see you? Which stories do you watch and you're like, yeah, by the way, they've spoken to what young people are going through?
I think the media could do more for us because there is this podcast I saw. They were like, they were talking bad about Gen Z. Yeah, they were just saying some shitty stuff.
What are they saying about Gen Z?
Shit stuff.
Yeah, what? I want us to dig into that. How was it stinking? Tell us. What was it?
Okay, there were people who were millennials. Yeah, so they were like, they were just saying, now one lady was saying that she thinks that Gen Z, like, tuko na maringo and stuff. Yeah, yani anaongea tu venye anataka.
Anabonga vile anataka, and that rubbed her the wrong way. Okay, as in, for translation purposes, that would mean she was talking recklessly, awfully reckless on that, yeah? Is that when we are seeing Gen Z? When they're saying bad things about how we don't want to work?
Anybody
is
here
so?
who wants to add their voice to that? Yes?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Dave. So I think on the matter of being seen in the news, it gets to a certain point where our own, we are clouded by a lot of what we get from the news. It's not very clear about what really concerns us as the youth. So we find that when we watch the news, it's so much scripted that if something is happening probably in the government or maybe in the public sector or whatever, but nothing inclusive in terms of like, this really affects the youth. The adolescent stage and other issues are not very inclusive.
Fantastic, thank you. That's loud and clear, huh? Loud and clear, thank you.
There's a gentleman who's been stirred by this one. He's been watching from the back. Now it's like, lazima ni bonge sasa.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Michael. For me, I feel like the youth are only acknowledged when things like crime happen or when someone commits suicide or something like that. That's when they start talking about issues that are affecting us. Otherwise, I don't feel like there is any acknowledgement.
Okay, thanks for that, Mike. Round of applause for him. Is that the overwhelming? Okay, there's one more right here at the front, Doc. Dr. T, on that side, I think you can, we should have started with this particular question. They have a lot to say.
My name is Yvonne. I feel like one of the ways I acknowledge that sometimes where we feel seen is, I think annually on one of the mainstream medias, they have presidents from different universities there and they have them discuss about the issues that the students are going through. But the problem now is, okay, the leaders have said what they had to say, and then what happens after that? They do nothing about it. So for me, that feels like they're doing that just to make us feel seen, but then it has no impact for us at the end of the day. They just did it for show, and it's for nothing. Yeah.
So even with the youth, there's no, they call it day 2 journalism. Talk about it on day 1, that's it. They move on to the next thing. Now the youth have had their voice heard. Yeah. Now you can't complain. Should we have the last one right here before we move on?
Hi, my name is Cairo Karega. So how I feel seen and acknowledged sometimes, when I look at traditional media, I usually, I've realized they tend to use Gen Zs only as content creators. So if you watch Standard Media Group, for example, KTN, you'll just see Gen Zs are the ones doing dances around KTN, Standard Media Group. They're just dancing around, doing funny clips. And I'm like, is this the only thing we can do, honestly? Why aren't we the ones leading conversations, starting conversations? Why aren't we part of the conversations? And even the content creators themselves are not even journalists. So they've just taken TikTokers, put them in the media house to create content around. And I'm like, we have journalism students. I'm a journalism student. Why aren't we being put at the forefront? Why aren't we the ones leading the conversations and telling the stories? It's not just enough to use Gen Zs to do some dances and say, we see you, we feel you, you know, do your TikTok dances, shwalabami, kufinish kumalo, yeah, we have seen you, we acknowledge you. Let us also be part of those serious conversations and lead them.
Okay, but round of applause for that. Because we can't say the youth's place is on Friday night TV, you know, wakifanya miondoko. There has to be more, right? There has to be more.
Okay, we're coming hard and fast.
Okay, hello, my name is Samuel Masiga. So there is no that platform where, for example, they air out news on matters drug abuse, but there is no clear framework on how we are going to do it, how we are going to prevent drug abuse among youths. They just give a lot of focus on politicians and so on news, but youths we are not given that much opportunity to air out our views and the problems affecting us.
Thank you so much. I think we take one more here.
Okay, last one before
and
we
then
move to the
last
next
one,
slide.
and then we move.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is real young Africa speaks.
So hi everybody. Hi. My name is Pauline Mothoni, and in addition to what Karega said, sometimes the youth are seen as part of CSR activities, quote unquote. So you'll be told we need a youth representative to, you know, talk about the youth, but it's just 1 out of 1 million, and he or she will be put on TV, maybe the front page, and then an organization says, yeah, we have this youth talking about ABCD, but in all honesty, after that, he or she is forgotten. There's no call to action after that, and it's just sad. I hope right now we can be put as part of the table and not just as an addition, not an ingredient, but the actual meal.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I want to say something. I've been holding it back, but I can't hold it anymore. I think we're getting to know each other now, right? We know each other a little bit. Can I say something?
Go for it, Doc.
So for this event, we had 470 people registered. That should fill from there to there. 9 o'clock, we had 30 people. And I'm saying, where are the people? And I'm getting an answer, that's our students. They'll come later. They'll come late. Some of them register, they won't show up. They'll just do something else. So if you want to be having a seat at the table, you have to come to the table.
Facts, eh?
Fact.
Huh?
Give me a clap. I'm saying truth. And if anyone has an answer for me, please answer. This is a debate.
Thank you so much. So the question has been posed. We are saying the problem is there, but are we showing up? And are we showing up right and correct?
I think it's good that you've highlighted that. And what I just, as a response, how about if these ones that have showed up are empowered, it will have a ripple effect on the rest. Because it goes a long way to show that absence of people means they don't even see the value in this. So the only best way to create value is in empowering the ones who have showed up. And then from that, now it will be our work, whether we like it or not, or whether we know it or not. The others will see something has changed, something important is coming from these people, and that will work. So it's just with us now to the rest of the world.
Sawa, we have heard you.
Correct. Correct on that one, by the way. I think you have a fan up there, but we need to move to the next question just because of time. Just because of time. Let's move on that. And this is a key issue. How do Africans view their youth? How do you feel viewed? You know, when you go into certain rooms, certain spaces. Some have said they feel like a token, gets in there and she knows she's CSR. Iya iendi mahali, after this, disappear. We don't need you anymore. That's what you want to talk about. In the lead, I feel that we are often overlooked. Coming in second, I feel that we are not taken seriously. Competing for third or fourth? No, not really competing. I feel that our elders see us as the future of Africa. What does that mean for your present? As we try and navigate that now. And finally, I feel like our elders value our opinion. That is razor thin.
I don't think there's anyone there.
In terms of value, they're like, no. Okay, but still at the top, and since it might be there for a while, I feel that we are not taken seriously. Okay, keep voting on that, but again, as we get to your views very quickly on that, is it because of what, Doc pointed out? Are we having like a chicken and the egg scenario? You're given an opportunity by what they will say, because I believe when they say Africans, I believe they mean millennials and above, They're giving the opportunities, and then, Doc was waiting to see a full room, didn't see that, and because of that, she doesn't take you seriously. And on the other side...
I didn't say that.
No, she's not. This is Jeff speaking. For example, hypothetically, those who are here, she's taking very seriously. Very. But because of that, it's the other side of it as well. For those who didn't show up or wondering, okay, for those who went, what really do they live with? And they're waiting to see so that next time they can also show up and be taken seriously as well. Because it's a key issue. How do we actually change that? Because you're not given. They say respect is earned. You're not gone and given. You have to, earn that. And how do we do that? I feel that we're not taken seriously. So let's ask a different question. How do you think what should we do to be taken more seriously? To be taken seriously as the youth? Yeah. What should we do? Because there has to be something in there, There's a solution here at the front. Yeah.
Hi. So I think for us to be taken seriously as the youth, we need to package ourselves more seriously. Because as my brother there said, we can't just be dancing on TV and 10 over 10 at midnight when our elders are busy in the lab coming up with innovations and things like that. So if we package ourselves as people who should be taken seriously, our elders are just that. They are our elders. They will soon exit the scene, and we will be the elders, and we'll have to do better for the incoming generation. So it's how we package ourselves. As Doc has said, show up for events early, show up on time, show up prepared. And when you're given the mic, speak your mind. Let people know that you're actually a serious person. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. A couple of other views right there. You can clap for her, by the way. Yeah?
No, that's great.
Let's be generous with those.
Here we go.
Okay, my name is Chris Arunga from the One Champions Kenya. So I'd like to say that young people have to acquire the right mindset because with platforms like this, you also have to prepare yourself to show up and to show up in the right mindset, willing to learn and also to like disapprove the misconceptions that maybe these people have about the young people. So come to the platform, take the microphone and show that you are able to work, unlike their misconceptions that they think that you are not able to perform to their abilities. So that's what I will say. The right mindset is important.
100%.
Good afternoon. My name is Ndolo Collins. Basically what they say is that if you cannot beat them, you join them. This world runs in a system that we have those that are in the system and then we have the followers of the system. Most of the time we found that the young people are the followers of our system, which was founded by our grandfathers. And majorly that system operates in the world of politics. And if you have to beat them really, really good, then we have to join them. And then after we join them, now we have to beat them while we are part of them. So if I think if we have a representation of youth in the world of politics, then we are at a upper hand of trying to beat them. So if we have a lot of us, okay, if not all of us, of course all of us cannot be in the world of politics. If you have some of us in the world of politics, then we have a chance of being valued by Africa and by those people that are older than us. We have a value, we have a chance of us showing to them that, of course, we do mean it, and we can change the world. So if we get into politics, then we can beat them. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. I just want to make a point on that one, that on the African continent, we have some very, very young ministers and cabinet, members of parliament and cabinet. And these are people who are up 30, 35 years old, who realize that if you don't get involved and stay there, if politics is there, then you will never determine your own future. So politics is seen as a senior, difficult, convoluted area. Is that not right? Am I speaking for you? If I'm wrong, you tell me. But that's what I believe. But if we don't want to get involved and we don't want, as youth, to play our part, we don't want to go into politics, I would love people to wake up and say, I want to be a politician, and it not be a dirty word. Do you know what I mean? I don't just want to be a journalist. I want the journalist to come ask me stuff, you know, and then I tell them. So that is very important as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And by the way, when you're planning to run for office, please let them know. That's how you mobilize. That's how you start, wherever you are. And all the best in your political career. Godspeed on that. I think there's one more. Doc, right here where you are? Yes. Right there in front of you.
Oh,
one more.
Sorry, didn't see.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Moses Gichuhu. I represent One Campaign. I think on this issue, we were having a discussion here with my neighbor, and we were saying that it takes two to tango. I think when you talk about inclusivity in the media landscape, it varies, and the main challenge that we are facing as a continent is a lack of representation and meaningful participation of young, youthful voices in traditional media outlets. I want to focus on the solution and just give one parting shot. I think the solution lies in fostering greater diversity and inclusivity in media ownership, in content creation and decision making. Very, very important. And on this takeover, our take home is it is less about the speed, but more about the direction. Incremental, as I say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank
I believe you can use that segue to where we're going next, and it's all about the call to action. You know, we've spoken about what's happening, we've spoken about accessibility, inclusion, but where do we go from here? Somebody said there's really no call to action. We're told to come in the room, say something, and disappear. How do we change that? And that's what we want to speak about. If you can get to the next slide. It's a call for action, and if indeed the future is in our hands, we need to know what it looks like, we need to know what it should be as we take control of that. Let's move on to the next slide. What words come to mind when you think of African development, from where you are? Big words right there, but for you, when you think about African development, because again, these are the things you see and you're like, it's just out there. Let them go and discuss that at AU, somewhere else, and then maybe might get involved. But from where you are, because they've said if you don't get involved, it won't be done for you. It'll always be them. And they always say, if you're not at the table, where are you? On the menu. Question is, how do you get more involved? When you think about it, what does African development look like when it comes to mind? Zero corruption. That's a good one. Global impact. You want the world to feel Africa's presence, and not as a recipient of aid. If you listened to Paul Kagame, he said something very interesting, that it's only in Africa where you have, debates every year on the use of aid and how it should work and its relevance. Only in Africa. No other continent brings leaders around the world to talk about aid. Says something as to how they think about us and the narratives out there. We still have a lot to do. When you think about African development, no gatekeeping, something that comes to mind.
Silicon Savannah, like that. Entrepreneurial growth, sustainability, reliance.
Innovation is really front and center. And this is something that when I look at this particular room, this is your strength. You're young, you're creative, you have ideas, this is your moment, you have, the cost to access of technology has really come down. So if it's collaboration or coming up with something innovative, this is the time and this is your space. And as you can see, the other words are revolving around innovation, but it really is front and center, Doc, on this one. This is what takes Africa to the next level.
Absolutely loving it, but the second one that's coming out strong and it seems to be growing is youth empowerment. And youth empowerment and innovation, that's dynamite, right? We have fire right there for progress, but doing it sustainably in a way that can build, in a way that can go. Able leaders. The issue of leadership is always a big one, isn't it? Because we can want to do a lot of things, but a lot of the time it's the leadership that will let us down, right? There's a Nigerian saying, the fish rots from the head. Yeah?
And that's why next time when you say, I don't vote, I'll stay in the house. And then for the next 4.5 years, you're complaining. And on that day, you could have done something you were sleeping on TikTok. On TikTok on that day. That was not you.
In the last elections, how many of you in this room voted?
And I really I like the ones who put their hands up that they voted, but I even like more the honest ones who are like, by the way, I didn't. I had the opportunity, I had the ID card, I did not.
But where were you? Where were you when it was voting day? And why weren't you voting? This is a good question. Anyone want to say something? Where were you?
Doc, I can't confirm or deny. I think I had somebody said here hangovered. I don't know if that's true.
You're coming from the cloud.
Or something like that from here.
You are hanging. You want to say something? Anybody?
There's someone here?
Up here? I can't wait to hear this. I'm walking thinking, I'm wondering what you're going to say. Who is talking here? Okay.
Personally, I voted, but I don't know if I will vote again because of how people come to you before the voting process. We had something totally different than Zakayo. I don't know if you know him, but here we have a Zakayo. Yes, you should not know him. But we had something totally different. Somebody comes to you and they're crying, they're on their knees, and I woke up early in the morning and I am regretting like hell. So next time maybe I'll be the hangover one during, so it's something to think about. People come to you, even some people are your fellow youth, you're like, let's put them in power, and they do nothing for you. They get there and they're like, it's time to eat money and squander and everything. So it's something to also think about when it comes to politics.
Valid point right there. And Dr. T, when she says Zakayo, that is our president's nickname, because of...
And I just said I don't even want to know him.
Yeah. Amesema anafanya nini? Anaweka mikakati. Anatenga mabilioni. Huh? My friend. Yeah, but that is a key issue of concern. So there's a bit of disillusionment as well for those who actually did wake up and voted, and it still didn't go their way. For both established politicians and for the young who got in and you are full of hope and felt that they would carry your dreams along, and then they became like the typical politician you know. So again, a big question there really. What's happening in that particular system? These conversations continue not only here, but even when we take a break from this. Let's get on to the last slide. Move on to the next slide, please. What would you, as a young person, like to say to the media? Fungua roho. Let it out. We've had Zakayo, we've had that, wanaenanga hapo na bonga shit. That was really from the heart, by the way.
Please plug in the computer. Battery is running low.
Oh, include the youth! Exclamation mark, yeah?
Mwah, no bars. Okay. Fungua roho.
You're doing great, but you can do more.
We have a lot of untold stories
There's
behind
that
these
famous
smiley faces.
Hatuna maoni. Yeah.
What does
Trying but mjifikiririe. Think for yourselves, Doc. That's what it means. As in the media is trying, but they should think for themselves in terms of how they set their agenda for the news.
I like it. You have a section for the youth and let the youth lead that section. By the way, I want to say something about that. If you have a section for the youth, let the youth lead that section. So this event here that we are having, there is no person over the age of 25 who put together from the concept to every last thing that is happening here, put together the event, is totally in charge of everything that has happened today. And there's that lady sitting there who is the youth liaison officer for AllAfrica, the whole of AllAfrica. 25 years of age, and nobody could tell her that we don't want to do this or we do want to do this. Because if we do that, what are we doing? Youth must lead youth. We are not the youth. I don't know what you guys want. She said, this is what you want, Mentimeter, what. I said, okay, go, do it.
A youth liaison who's actually youth.
Yes.
Always a good place to start. Okay, let's see what we have right there. Someone who puts like
have
an
the
emoji
courage
of 3
and
ducks.
the balls to take the administration in regards to matters youth employment.
A key issue of concern. And as we look at that, I mean, it's not lost on us that if you're from Kenya, we have doctors and medical interns who have been on strike for how many days now? We lost count. 55, going to like 2 months, So when you talk about, taking employment seriously, I think these are some of the issues that are coming up. Kuna mtu anasema, wacheni niongee. Who are you? Let me talk. That's what it means. But when you look around, they are not raising their hands. Okay, that's fine. So what we'll do at this particular point, because I think they're all in, we'll press enter from the top right there, our gallery. We'll have some of these views up, and I'd like you just to do a quick vote on what you think really captures what we're discussing today and what you feel would be your message to the media. So voting in progress. Yeah, there's some pin drop silence there. Relax, guys. Breathe. As we wait for that, of course, this just tidily sums it up on where we stand and what you as a young person would like to say to the media. Voting for those particular views. 3 people have voted. Also, from this slide, we don't see what they're voting for until the tail end, isn't it?
Yes.
7 people have voted. Really interesting to see what that, rallying call would be to the media.
Yes.
Because that's what we package. And like Daktari said, the reason it was important to have this conversation is because tomorrow we do speak to the media leaders. And as we talk to them, as we say good morning, welcome, this is what your audience is saying. This is what your people are saying. This is your shortcoming, and this is what you need to think about as you leave this particular room. And that's why this was so important, to listen to you, to what you're saying.
Okay, now that we've told you what we're doing at the African Media Leaders Summit, if there is anyone in this room who would like to come and sit with us for 2 days and talk about all things media, please send me an email at hello@africamediasummit.africa. Don't you love the .africa? hello@africamediasummit.africa. hello@AllAfricaMediaSummit.africa. One more time, hello@AllAfricaMediaSummit.africa.
All I can say is that email, when you're talking about being in the room and not as a token and showing up, that's the golden email, and it happens tomorrow. So please, get that email, send your credentials, say hello. When alisema wacha niongee, ongea kwa hiyo email. It'll be tons of value to you tomorrow. I think you can close it when you get to 70 and see what we have. So 2 more on that.
I know you guys are looking for the hashtag Media for Change. Media for Change. AllAfrica Media Summit 2024. AllAfrica Media Summit 2024. Or Media for Change.
Okay, those are the hashtags we have, because I mean there's more to experience even as we exit this particular room. Up there, lots to see in your mixed reality, get into the metaverse as well. Let's see which phrase captures what we've been talking about this entire morning and into the afternoon. Do we get to see that on screen? There we go, coming in as most resounding in terms of what you want to leave this particular room. It's 3 words: include the youth. You know, when you're telling the stories, the people who are telling the stories, what the stories are about, include the youth. Coming in second, employ young people and give them senior editorial positions. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, third, runner up on that, give us opportunities. We can see that. Have a section for the youth and let the youth lead it.
Yes.
Okay. Again, let our opinions count. Truth above all. Be genuine without compromise. Being young doesn't mean we know less. Izumi memo. Trust. Hatuna maoni, consider the learned youth, have the courage or bold to take on the administration in regards to matters youth employment. Innovating still coming in right there. Stop overlooking the importance of the future. And then there's someone who's like, fire those old chaps. Wow, okay. We have a lot of untold stories behind these smiley faces. Okay, we can see where this leads to, but if you can scroll to the top, please. On the findings, as you can see right there, top 3, and I believe this is what they will take into the summit tomorrow as well. Give us opportunities, employ young people, and give them senior editorial positions. Dr. T, I know there'll be very many senior editors tomorrow as we have that summit, and media owners. So that one, they shall hear it as well. But most importantly, include the youth. That brings us to the end of this particular part of our conversation. It is not over yet. I believe the floor is it yours, Dr. T? Okay, a round of applause for yourselves as well. Very engaging conversations.
So thank you very much. We have come to the end of our session. We are going to be completing a report. All of you who have registered online, we will be sending you a copy of that report. We'll also put it up on our website here. You are the media. Media is now democratized, isn't it? Each and every one of us is media. So we go out and we do it. So before we go for that, the final remarks I would like to give to Tayani. Tayani is a very interesting young lady. She has traveled to every continent of the world. She went to school in South Africa and started her university in the Netherlands and finished university in Mauritius at the African Leadership University that brings together Africans from all over the continent in Mauritius. So they have 2 campuses. One campus is in Rwanda, one campus is in Mauritius. She studied social sciences and is now the Youth Liaison Officer and Content Analyst at AllAfrica. Over to you, Tayani.
Before I give my closing remarks, I would just like to ask the tech team if we could download this Mentimeter presentation with all the results so that we can share it with everybody who came here today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the University of Nairobi for partnering with us in this event and for hosting us in their beautiful Chandaria Hall. To Jeff Mote, I would like to say thank you for that thought-provoking keynote and your fantastic moderation. To our Summit Director, Dr. Tendai Mija, and AllAfrica's Executive Chairman, Mr. Amadou Mahta Ba, thank you for your input and guidance. To True Black, Ubuntu Tribe, One Campaign, and Oxygen, thank you for your contributions and support. To the youth in this room, we need to get the leaders of our continent to pay attention to young people, to truly see us and acknowledge our integral role in Africa's bright and prosperous future. Africa and the world need to know that we are ready and committed to Africa and the African cause, that we are hungry for knowledge and striving for a future where our worth and potential as a continent are fully realized. We are powerful, and this power must not be overlooked or underestimated. We have so many ideas. We know how to think outside of the box and push the boundaries of our creativity. I feel that as Gen Z, we are often misunderstood. I feel like sometimes our elders think that we lack passion and drive, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Just because we do not show it in traditional ways, it does not mean that it doesn't exist. We are creators, we are innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders. And with our grasp of digital technology, we can change this continent if given half a chance. So let's take it. As Jeff so eloquently said, let's not wait to be given opportunities. Let's go out there and make them for ourselves. Let's carve our own path to greatness and do our part to develop Africa into the absolute powerhouse that it has the potential to be. On behalf of AllAfrica and the AllAfrica Media Leaders Summit team, I would like to thank you all for attending and participating in the very first edition of the Digizens Circle, Young Africa Speaks. I hope you will continue to speak up and take steps, however small, to develop our beautiful and soulful Africa. Thank you.
Hi everyone. How is our energy level? Stops? Middle? Down? Where? Perfect. So as we've had, we will include the youth, or rather the people for the summit have agreed and they've had your concerns. But as Kenyan Dictionary on Instagram says, ukipewa, perform. Ukipewa, exactly. So we'll move on to that first, the exit place. So I believe you have the black, yellow, red kind of thing. You got it while you were registering, right? So we'll have the first 4 colors, black, yellow, blue, and red. Go downstairs, and as you leave, you'll get a small thing. So make sure you use this exit. Let's be orderly. And then the last color will remain outside here and do the virtual reality, do all those, TikTok dances where we is at, and, let everyone know that we are here, na tukipewa tutaperform, right? Exactly. Yeah, make sure you pass by the virtual reality. It's cool, guys. It's cool. So that's it. So have a lovely afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. And DJ, I think you can give us finish Kumalo as we exit.